This is roughly a 2-year stash. Stuff that I picked up over the, yeah, it was a little over 2 years now that I've been doing this. But in the buckets I have everything from rice, I have sugar, salt, oats, wheat, and a couple of them are full of pasta. I also have some feed corn as well. I have some chicken feed stash for the chickens upstairs. I'm working on dog food now. The boxes, these are all number 10 cans from Honeyville. And I have a couple of things of vegetables, broccoli and carrots. The rest is powdered potato flakes, milk substitute, a lot of powdered eggs. Also, I've got some, I think there's a powdered butter in there too, I'm not sure. But powdered cheese. And then one box with the freeze-dried turkey, which was, I'd probably go out and kill a deer before I buy another case of that stuff. That was over $200. But the buckets definitely do a good job protecting everything. Although I really don't have a rodent problem down here, but you know, you never know.
And this is over here is just your canned stuff?
Yeah, the protein shelf, the protein and caffeine shelf.
Nice.
This, you know, a little at a time. Like today's payday, I'm gonna go out and get maybe I don't know, a half a dozen of those canned hams and throw them up there. And the kids actually whack away at this pretty good, so you know, they're lazy. They don't want to actually make lunch. They'll come down and grab a can of stew and heat that up. But I try to get as much meat as I can possibly get. You know, chicken and turkey and tuna. Well, typically for the like the chunky soups and the Progresso soups, my wife picks that up when it's on sale. A lot of times it's you know, 10 for $10, and you know, you're saving 50 to 70% when you buy it like that. We have an Aldi's nearby too, which has their food is always their canned stuff is always very cheap. The same or similar chunky soups at Aldi's are always $1.19 a can, as opposed to $1.89 or like $2.19, which the Campbell's chunky soups are from time to time. Their large cans of coffee are $4.99.
You got some ramen noodles up there, I see.
Yeah, it's mostly the kids.
Good stuff.
The kids like that to, you know, make real quick when they get home from school. I really, after I got out of the Army and I wasn't starving anymore, I stopped eating ramen.
So basically, like if you come across a nice sale on something,
absolutely, grab a case. You know,
grab a case, throw it on the shelf.
You know, every paycheck I try to put, you know, between $20 and $50 aside and just grab something.
Nice.
You know, grab extra shelves, grab a case of luncheon meat, you know, case of stews, 2 or 3 cans of coffee, and then just, you know, the next payday you get something else.
Got some, these are good to have always. Got some canned hams right there.
Jack ham. That was going to be this week's purchase. Like 3 or 4 more of those, and maybe a couple of cases of ammo. I don't know. We'll see what's going on.
Yeah, if you look at the stuff here, guys, you got everything's labeled with the dates on them, so you know, you kind of get an idea of
how and when to rotate it out.
When to rotate your stuff out. You know, it's a good idea to keep that in mind when you're storing and prepping.
Gives you something to do when you're drinking beer in
Exactly.
the basement, hiding from the family.
Exactly. Let's have a look at some of the Mylar buckets.
Storing large quantities of food in these buckets, that's where you learn some shit. This is what the bucket's supposed to look like. Everything's sucked down into the Mylar bag. The oxygen absorber did its job. We can see on this bag here, there's still a ton of air left in there. It's not that the oxygen absorber didn't do its job. The moron who packed it didn't do his job. And the seal is obviously compromised someplace. So I'll show you the tools of the trade. You have your bucket, your Mylar bag, whatever you're going to put in it, whatever dry contents you're going to put in there. This is my sealing base, and this is what I use to seal it. Does an excellent job. Always leave these open for a few days, at least. Just let them sit for 4 or 5 days. That way it gives it an opportunity to suck this, for the oxygen absorber to do its job. If you go slamming a lid on here and you stash it away, you're not going to know if you had a failure. That's another thing with the lids. 2 types of lids you can get is a standard 5-gallon bucket lid. Pardon me. These you typically have to cut these notches, and they're still a pain in the ass to take off. You can buy the same lids in Home Depot for $1. They don't have a rubber seal, but they are much easier going on and coming off. All I suggest you do is get a knife or something and cut this little nub off, because it'll stick you and make you bleed.
So basically with these, what would you do? Like with something like this, you just repack it?
Just going to redo the whole thing over again. You're talking, what, $3?
Right.
If you have an odd number of oxygen absorbers left over, say, you have a pack of 10 oxygen absorbers, just stash whatever's left in a small jar. Put them in there as quick as possible. Close it up tight, and they should be fine. This one, however, is not. I left these little indicator tabs in there. I don't know if you could see it on the camera. When there's no oxygen present, these little indicator tabs turn red. They're blue now, so this oxygen absorber is obviously shot. Always good to have spare buckets and spare lids.
Got some spare buckets there, some spare lids.
The buckets you can use for everything. The buckets you can make your water filters out of. You can store water in them if you clean them out appropriately.
Would you say you had a water filter?
I've got a couple extra. Well, these are, I'm going to make my own. I'm not going to blow $250 on a Berkey. But I have these Dalton, 2 of these Dalton ceramic filters that I'm just going to make a 5-gallon bucket drip filter with. And these, supposedly, you'll be able to just wash off and reuse if they get a little funky. So I actually have to set up the filter, run water through it 2 or 3 times, and then put it someplace where it's not going to get smashed by the kids.
And how much are those filters, and where can somebody pick them up?
I'll have to give that to you. You put it in, put a caption in
right
on the video. But these were, I think, $45 a piece. So for roughly $100, you can have a decent filter.
Nice.
There's another little spot about vacuum sealing pasta. Don't bother. It'll just pop the bag. These are all 1 pound increments of various pastas. But when the bag sealed around the pasta, it just popped right through the bag. So it probably could have got better bags. Although I have some pretty heavy duty Emerson bags as well that just didn't survive either. So just leave it in the box, and shit, it'll probably last 10 years in the box alone. But you can vacuum seal it around the box too, as long as you don't go banging the edges of it. But we'll be using this up over the next 6 months. No big deal. What the hell is that thing called? Oh yeah. It's like a thing you can do with your vacuum sealer is seal up your soap, because in the summertime, if it's really, really humid, it does get a little humid down here, and the soap just turns to crap. So vacuum seal it up. Year and a half I haven't had a problem, and you can see it's solid as a rock.
Nice.
It's the toiletries cabinet.
See, you got some plastic containers here. What do you plan on using them for?
I could see using a couple of them for water storage. I don't know about drinking water. I'm still a little leery about the material that it's made of, but definitely I'm going to have a couple for gasoline upstairs, one for kerosene. But if I could set these up to water a garden, or even to make a improvised shower, then I'm going to go ahead and do that. I got a shitload of PVC pipe, so I mean, the sky's the limit, I suppose.
You could probably even throw some Mylar bags of food in there as well. What do you think?
Absolutely, yeah. They lock down pretty tight. There's no gasket. There's no gasket on the lids, but they're still snug down pretty tight. But as you can see, if you look at the edge, it's not exact, so
right.
It's not perfect all the way across. So I think you can keep fuel in there for 6 months, and they won't get crushed from the expansion and the contraction. But I probably wouldn't leave it more than that or longer than that. Even with the stable or the Pry-D, just use it. Everything gets used. You're gonna have grains, you better have a way to grind them up. This is a Back to Basics grain mill. I think I paid like $60 for this. It's a pretty heavy-duty little mill, but not nothing like the Country Living mills or anything. I mean, there's a couple of really good companies out there that, I mean, if you're doing it all the time, I would go that route. But this is strictly shit hit the fan type stuff. So if I'm grinding my own wheat, it'll be with something electronic until I absolutely need to use this. In fact, I'm going to get another one of these and just have it down in the basement as a spare, because I'm a bit of a redundancy nut. That's
Nice.
basically
grain mill right there.
Comes out, clamps onto your table. You put your handle on, and this is what does your grinding right here. It took me roughly 5 minutes to do a single cup of wheat berries. You have to take time out to take a sip of beer every couple of cranks. So
nice.
But
there you go.
Handy little item.
So if you're going to grind some grain, or if you got some wheat that you want to grind down to some flour, because flour doesn't really stay that good, this would probably be a good little gadget to have on hand. And it's not electronic, which is even better in a bug-in situation.